Okay, so let's share a screen. Alex, you built this app, and I want to make sure that we can give you a chance to talk about it. And then, Mike, if you have any feedback, any questions, please feel free, okay? So I want to present, screen share.
Okay.
We'll present entire screen, screen number 2, screen number 1. Okay. Alex, can you see it? Okay, Alex, tell us a little bit about the app.
It's loading.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I can.
Are you able to see the app, Alex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk to us about it?
Well, yes. Let's start by the first this on OECD dashboard based on the data that you for this week the week 18 Figure Friday. Basically here the original data set was huge, so I need to split to try to make this dashboard. What basically I did was selecting from specifically from year 2015 to year 2024, and basically splitting in 7 domains instead of the 11 domain that original. Well, based on that, I did this dashboard specifically the domain. We first see the domain, and we can select the domain, the well-being domain, and behind the well-being domain we have the indicator. Every indicator, if you select every one of the indicators, you will see on your right side that I selected I build bar chart, I call comparison, snapshot, and historical journey, several tabs, and historical journey, and all country cluster and future trends. Let's go one by one. The comparison snapshot basically is showing, depending on the indicator that you select or the demographic that you select, shows, for instance, in this case, that Adam selected health is showing us death from suicide and alcohol and drug by in this case by sex in 2020. Here we have I select two ways to see. Here in this case is a natural 1 year, and here you can focus on selecting 1 year. In this case, for to see, also only apply to see, only apply for one chart, and also for the future trend that we will see later. Here you can see 2 countries. You can select 2 countries, nation in focus. Here are drop-down menu that you can select around 47 countries, that all the countries that are in the data set. And basically here at the you can see, for instance, if we select the sex, we can see the difference between Austria and Belgium based on sex. It's important to mention here that there are many things that I have to do. For instance, include the population total. If I didn't have this, we may have a problem, because not all the data have exactly split the demographics. For instance, if you change Adam sex to age, for instance, here again population length, you see the total. This is the problem. If you unselect here and checking here the include population, you don't have any total. This is one of the things I have to handle in the data, because it's not, we are not going to see anything. But even though I try to do the in this way. This is one of one of the measure or the indicator that we can select. There are many, and the idea of the comparison snapshot is exactly compared in one of area population line of demographic country by country. You can for instance select Brazil or other country if you don't see anything here because there is no enough data.
So
We
here,
focus,
Alex,
or I focus on.
So here we have.
Ask question, please.
For here in Austria, we have for female the death from suicide. This is 9 out of 10,000, 100,000 people. 9.56.
Based on the exactly based on the static the measure that we use here, that use OBS value. This is a good question because this OBS value maybe sometimes there on not all of them have the same unit measure. It's important to mention.
Yeah.
In this case, what I did, take a generic, the OBS value to have something, and in this case, exactly as you ask, is the percentage of death from suicide in alcohol drug by set, comparing these two countries. And we can see male is lower value than the male in this case, but it's exactly what you.
Okay, so in male is 27 out of 100,000. Here we have 9, and the total is like an average in between. Because most countries have probably 50%.
You can select, for instance, a year here. Okay. Well, go ahead. A year.
Historical journey, and here we have Belgium.
Historical.
Nice.
It's a trend.
So this doesn't have. We don't have data in Belgium after 2021. There's no data.
No. So that's the reason why I in this way. This is the historical death from suicide. For instance, you can select another country, let's say Canada, and you can see the trend from Canada, and this is exactly the variety of charts and data that I wanted to include here because there are interesting insights. It's a huge data set, by the way. So you can see interesting insight. This is the part of the historical journey to see the trend. Also, I include some, let's say, smart insight or some information to complement all this chart graph. For instance, here you can see a smart insight when you go to the cluster, and you will see how the cluster is. Or for instance, here story guide. Instead of let's go here. Well, here we can see when we go to the country. In this case,
story guide. This one.
The story. This one. The story guide try to talk about a little what the language of well-being OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the storyteller behind this data. The domain, what I most like about it, the domain, indicators, and the OBC value, the number that quantify the human the data is all about.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Then you selected the other tab that you here. No, here. Well, here. Go down, please. Huh? No, go down. No, the bottom. At the bottom that you. The story behind the number. Perfect. Here, basically, also talk about it. The analysis group is highlighting what is the metric that we are using here. In this case, the analysis group is talking about the clusters and how they're revealing natural grouping in data. and some other information to make some overall picture about what the data is. You can
Yeah.
to
Honestly, they have a question here on from X as well. I want to try and
country
answer.
country
Alex, you're cutting off.
clusters.
Mike, do you hear him or do you hear him also cut off?
Yeah, he stopped.
Yeah, we have a question here on X that I wanted to try and answer.
Any question, any comments?
No, you were just cutting off, Alex.
Okay.
But here, the country clusters.
Now,
like,
now can you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I really liked how you divide this into different groups: high performance, mid range, and low performance, and add these colors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, basically here, Adam and Mike was to select three groups. I like also, as I always mention to you or talk about it when we have this conversation. I like it to see, uncover, insight if is any relationship between any partner inside the data. In this case, always I try to use unsupervised learning, in this case, cluster. In this case, the cluster would be excellent if I only use a simple clusters that change based on the story indicator you select. And you is a country cluster. What it does, basically, what it does is a function like when you select life expectancy of birth, for instance, instead you will see that it change based on this historical. The cluster are calculated based on the historical and only one measure. Very simple, but at the end, very informative. No, only one feature. This is the quantity feature and the values and the historical value to calculate this one. This is I like it to do in that way because this is like a backbone, no? Or on MVP. In the future, I can say, for instance, it would be excellent if we have, for instance, sex. Sex only is based on the total, no? The split female and male, or age, or education. It would be very interesting if we have the split it in a better way, but we don't. This data is what it is. So I try to do it in that way. But if that exactly, in fact, in this case, when I decided the design or did the clusters, I decided three clusters, and the number three, I didn't do it because of one feature. I didn't do any other, for instance, elbow method or any other method that you have to make in order to see what is the perfect cluster. And at the end, you will see the future. The other one is the future trend. By the future trend is basically the historical journey is almost the same that the other one is the historical journey, but also calculate this linear regression is calculating using the year, the historical year, and using the NumPy library to calculate the error and to predict some prediction about what will be the in this case the life expectancy at birth. And it's basically basic, also basic, only based in one feature, but it's interesting because I can see more or less trend. And also, as I said, I can use in the future if I want to go further in this app another features that are interesting. The features are there are features here. So, but the demographic need to be better split or need to be more information because basically we don't have that
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, thank you.
information.
Mike,
And it's basically
Mike, do you have any questions about this or any comments?
Yeah, I'm looking. It's a lot of information, and when I first explored the data, I just on a CSV, I was overwhelmed. So many categories. Did you
see so
have
many.
you have you? So it's interesting to you can explore so many. Have you considered grouping any according to continents, maybe North America, South America,
Well,
Africa, Europe?
when it's a good question. I didn't see in that way. What I did was, for instance, were 11 domains, and basically the first criteria was reduce the amount of data because of, well, I want to build a dashboard, and for by cafe I need to reduce. This is the first one, and the two criteria were the years from close to the year, reduce the year from 2020 to from 2015 to 2023, and also the domains. I see the domains focus. I wanted to follow or to do specifically clusters based on job satisfaction or life satisfaction, and take the domain. For instance, in the Word, we take that domain and see what would be the relationship. First, clusters, no cluster, and define cluster for every data, but also in one domain. Then I would like, well, based on this, I would like to do a logistic regression, for instance, or in this case, uh, basically a random forest regression, because random forest regression can capture some relationships that are not obvious. That was the first thing that I wanted to do, but based on the data, some missing, I couldn't. So in fact, I start doing exactly the comparison snapshot at the historical journey. That's it. And then play around. At the end, the content cluster and the future thing. But as you say, yes, it's a lot of data. If in fact, or a combination, or for instance, environmental, there is a very interesting, for instance, environmental quality that I take out. But we have three. I think that Esther make a chart. It's very interesting. Take these three and see what history behind, and make the this dashboard. But it's a lot of data, as you said, and it's very interesting. Many another exercise that I did is with this I close. It was let's say I have this data frame with 7 domains, that number of indicators, and I explore. I made an ADA, and I explore how many unique value I have. And based on that, I made a combination of that to see how many combination or insight I can take from a huge, say millions, and then I had to listen, no, let's cut. But it's exactly, you can take any avenue. It's very interesting these days.
Very nice.
It depends on the audience, maybe. That's all. Who
Uh,
the audience, whether you want all the data, if it's an internal audience, maybe. I don't know, maybe just a small business, or maybe condense it
uh,
for a more wider audience. I don't know.
Exactly. It's depend on the audience. In this case, what I try to do is for users to digging around, to play around. Say, no? But if you want to make an specific
Mm-hmm.
looking or a specific insight, you can combine, for instance, environmental ecology with some housing, based on the audience, maybe real estate, I don't know, this kind of thing that what people select and see.
Alex, I liked how you connected the the drop downs here. So this drop down choice will filter the choice of the story indicator drop down.
Mm-hmm.
Values will filter the data to choose the options that are relevant, and then that will allow the user to choose from, and then they can choose whatever lens they want to focus on, text and education. So easy to navigate in that sense. And then you added this one if you want to do by a journey or just a snapshot. It's just a way to go to the tabs. And then obviously the range of the years. Some people might be interested in later years than more recent years, assuming they have data. So I would just say, really fine, good looking app, Alex. I small suggestions. You don't necessarily have to add these. I think it's understood that you're encouraging people to choose one of this. This doesn't add that much information. Choose which country stories you want to compare. I can click on the drop down. I can see these countries, and this will automatically update. So it's not bad. It just doesn't add that much to the app. This also, it's kind of cool. You have it here. Oh, because you change the time. What you could do instead of adding multiple duplicates, remove this radio button and just have the tabs update the controls. If the tab is in historical journey, then this will be here. If the tab is in comparison snapshot, then this will be here, a drop down, instead of adding, because now the user can choose this or can choose a tab, choose the same thing. So I kind of like a duplicate. This is a great idea.
It's redundant. Okay.
Yeah, it's redundant. Yeah, this is a great idea. Include population totals or not. This is also, Alex, a little bit redundant. Future trends. Like, I'll just go. I mean, this is cool to have the modal up there, but it could be just here, future trends, and right next to the title, you could have this exclamation mark if they want to learn more about it, which they can read like this. But I would remove these two buttons because they already exist here in the tab. Right, leave it clean. And then if there is not enough data, like in a graph right here, or like there's 2024, then what I will show, like this one is empty, just have like an HTML div here. Instead of showing the graph, just have a message like not enough data. Choose a different country, or choose a different year, instead of showing like an empty x-axis and y-axis or this.
Yeah. Exactly. Some information to take to actions. Select other things.
Exactly. Like, guide them a little bit. You're right. But these are just small, like professional touches to make it look even more professional, even more beautiful. But the app is really good. Really good app.
Thank you. No, absolutely. Because that's what I talk about it. No, a lot of things for me, it's a lot of things to be improved here. So. But exactly, I included this in this case. I included the population total because when I did the ADA, the exploration, the analysis in the Jupyter Lab, no, I see all this stuff, and I see all, well, if I take out slide and the total, I don't have anything. So that's the reason why I have to make, build, or create in any way, button or something like that, to include this information. Because you have information in order, for instance, there are countries that you have the male and female, very good. But the total in others is total. If you take out the total, you don't have quality.
Agreed. All right. Well, thank you for this, Alex. How long did it take you to build this app? Pretty advanced.
My pleasure.
How long did it take you?
Honestly, a lot of days. since since Friday, when you said release the data, I see Friday, Sunday, at least more than 3 or 4 days full, full,
Full day.
full.
Okay.
So I don't lie, but I like it. So it's funny for me. So
Yeah, you can easily see you put a lot of hours into this. It's really good.
Yeah.
yes.
All right, folks. Well, thank you, Alex, for showcasing
No, thank you. My
your
pleasure.
nice data app. Mike, thank you for joining us and observing, asking questions. Mike, if you have any questions specifically about Dash, let me know. You can find me on the forum or just email me, and I can give you some tips on how to get started and learn Dash quickly. Hope you can participate, maybe build a graph in the next Figure Fighter data set, which I'm going to release this afternoon. It's about it's a data set about and from New York City, how for people who are applying to get medallions are called TLC medallions, transit something I forget committee, to be able to drive taxis. And so we're going to analyze that data set, see who gets the medallions, why they get it, when they don't get it, what happens. And good opportunity for 1 or 2 nice plotly graphs. And we'll see you all next Friday in the next Figure Friday session next week.
Cool. All right. Well, it was nice meeting all of you. Look forward to it.
Likewise. Alex, Mike, have a good one.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye,
Hey,
guys.
have a nice week.
You too. Bye, Alex.